Hall County Sports is also brought to you in part by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals, and remember, when you go Green Ford. By Turner Wood & Smith, serving the insurance needs of our area for over 100 years. And by McKellar Road United Methodist Church on McKellar Road in Oakwood. Loving Christ, loving people, and helping people love Christ. Hello, everybody. I'm Gary Glenn, and this is Hall County Sports. Well, this is the first show we've been able to post in a while, but we hope to be more regular from now on. We start things off with wrestling. The North Hall wrestlers had a great season. They had a third at the state duels meet, and they had a runner-up to perennial powerhouse Gilmer County. In other words, second overall in the traditional state meet. Yeah, you have two different wrestling championships, and they did well in both of them. They finished as Hall County runners-up to Gainesville, and they also finished as Quad A duels runners-up to Buford. Chastity was third at that meet. And as I said, the Trojans went on to Macon and wound up third in the state in the duels. Now, Gilmer knocked off Buford for the 4A state title at that meet. And the Trojans now down there in Macon had to wrestle a lot for that third place at the duels. They knocked off Crisp County 56-21 in the first round before falling to the eventual champion Gilmer 40-30, and then falling into the consolation bracket where they would not lose again. They beat Carrollton 48-38, edged Heritage Catoosa 37-36, and Marist 38-34, and then they took out West Lawrence 46-27 for their third place. The Trojans hung tough down there and making it the state duels. Now, at the traditional state meet out there at that Energy Center in Gwinnett County, the Trojans really had a shot at Gilmer as Michael Carew repeated as state champion, this time at 160 pounds. North Hall also got a state title at 170 from Nick Whitmire, as well as a runner-up finish from Isaiah Hale at 182 pounds, a third from Matt Glenn at 106, a fourth from Randy Galvin at 220, and a fifth from Darian Ingram at 195. And at the end, the Trojans were a mere 11.5 points behind Gilmer. It was a tremendous season for Coach Stuart Cunningham and his boys.
As far as I know, with the third place finish at the duels and the second place at the traditionals, probably the best year North Hall Wrestling's ever had.
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah, it is.
Tell me about this year. You knew coming back you're going to have some talent. Did you expect all this?
We knew it was very, very possible. Not something that we openly talked about. We talked about it within the team. Had a rash of injuries and, for lack of a better term, just bad luck for a while, and lost some guys, and really had to readjust the lineup, work even harder. And we still felt like, though, as the season progressed, that guys were getting back and folks were getting near the weight we wanted them and wrestling better and better. And we realized when we went to the state duels that we really had a good chance to compete for the top spot at traditional. So that's kind of what happened. The kids, they deserve all the credit, man. They worked really hard under a lot of tough conditions and just kept on battling. And the end result was we put a team out there equal to just about anybody else, and they performed last weekend very well.
Yeah, talk about peaking at the right time. But you knew coming out of the duels, I don't know if people realize, Stuart, how tough it is to place at the duels. Once you drop into that bottom bracket there, right, the consolation bracket, you're wrestling a whole lot of matches, aren't you? And you can't lose anymore.
No, and they just proved what kind of wrestlers they were when we dropped down there. And I think they wrestled even better in the bottom than they did the top. And our last match might have been the best match we'd wrestled the whole tournament. So it was obvious to us that they weren't finished after that state duels tournament was over.
Yeah, so you go in there, you go into the sectionals, now you're at the state, and you had a bunch of people that placed there, which led to really putting a scare. Finally beat Buford, that had to feel pretty good, number one, yes, and really put a scare in Gilmer.
It did, and we were ahead of them for, I guess, about half the tournament, and it went back and forth. There were 4 different leaders in the tournament, which was Quad A was the only classification where there was a battle for the top spot. Rest of them were academic, so that was great for the fans. And Coach Snyder and I are very good friends and have been since he started and I started way back when. And we really enjoyed the competition. He had told me later in the tournament that it had been a long time since his heart rate gotten up that high. And Well, we enjoyed it. We still feel like, we dropped a few matches in the Constellations that might have helped us win the tournament, but every coach can say that.
Sure.
That's near the top. You're not going to win all of them, but we felt like we had a legitimate shot, 5.5 out going into the finals, but didn't work out. We're extremely proud of all those guys.
Yeah. Talk about your people that wrestle for the championships now. First of all, with Carew and then with Whitmire.
Well, Michael was the heavy favorite going in, and he should have been. Nobody scored on him in the tournament, and he won his finals match with a pin up 8-0. So he was dominant. He did exactly what we expected him to do, which is difficult sometimes. He probably carries around a lot more pressure than he lets on. And Nick came back from a bad ankle injury in November and has a plate in his ankle to wrestle his way back to get the championship match against a very good wrestler from St. Pius that he's actually now beaten 3 times. So it's hard to beat somebody 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And, as Nick usually does, it was fairly dramatic in the third period when he won it. So we're extremely proud of those 2 guys, and we're proud of all of them. Had 7 placers. Isaiah also get runner-up.
To a guy that was the Pan Am silver medalist. I mean, that's a heck of a thing.
Yes.
And lost in overtime.
Lost in overtime. I thought when we went to overtime we were probably going to win, but I always think that. So, Matthew's a good wrestler, a good young man, and Isaiah is just tremendous. The things he's done this year, and he's not finished wrestling. He's going to wrestle in college somewhere.
Yeah.
I've been getting quite a few calls since that match.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we're proud of all of them.
Yeah. And you got to be proud of the team. I mean,
Absolutely.
I talked to Carew after and he gave credit to the team for helping him.
Right. That room down there this year has been an extremely competitive place to be, and that showed in the tournament just how hard they competed with each other in the room every day. Our competitive drills that we did probably this year. Maybe I've forgotten, but it's the best I can remember in a long, long time, how hard they fought each other just to win a drill that, most people think might not matter much. So we're proud of those 7 placers and our entire team. Like I said in an email to the school, from the 3rd graders all the way up to our JV and our non-qualifiers, they all had a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, and your middle school won the state duels, and so got to ask you about next year, Coach. I mean, you got some people in the pipeline, but it's going to be tough to replace some of these seniors.
It'll be tough to replace them. I mean, as a whole person, you won't replace them. You might can as a wrestler at some point, but they're very good kids along with very good wrestlers at the same time. So hard to replace. Freshmen are going to have a lot on them next year.
Now, as for Michael Carew, he pinned Cole Ingram of Lafayette in the 160-pound finals for his 2nd straight state title. And he was aggressive from the get-go. I mean, just from the outset, and that, he told me, was part of his strategy.
From the get-go tonight, that had to be part of your strategy.
Yes, sir. It was. I knew that coming to the tournament, he was really good on his feet, so I wanted to take him down fast. So made sure I got my 2, and then normally do what I normally do. Get the bar in, run it. So.
Yeah, you ran it and couldn't quite squeeze him enough. He was pretty good bridging.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was tough.
But then the 2nd period now, you went down because you thought you could come out, right?
Yes, sir.
And then get the bar in. Take me through the 2nd period.
2nd period, probably my favorite position is in bottom, just because I know if someone puts a leg in, that's probably my best area in wrestling. So I can get out of legs pretty easy. And if not, I can always stand up. And I took him down pretty easy in neutral, so I was pretty confident. Yeah.
Repeating as state champion. You and I have talked about this before. I don't think people realize how hard it is just to get back, much less win it all.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of pressure to repeat, but I've learned how to deal with the pressure. So it really wasn't what I expected. I knew I gotta trust God when I go out there. It was probably, honestly, my least stressed I've ever been this whole year. Not because of who the kid was or how good he was, just that I knew I put the work in and that the results are going to come.
And your team has had a great year.
Yes, sir. They have.
And does that help you?
Yeah, it does, definitely. I have Isaiah Hale and Nick Whitmire as my team partners, and they're both in the finals, so it shows.
So now on to college, right?
Yes, sir. I'm headed to Shorter University next fall. So.
Looking forward to that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And that capped a perfect 48-0 season for Michael Carew. As for Nick Whitmire, he came back from a broken ankle he suffered last November to wrestle himself back into shape, and he edged out Jack Marsh of St. Pius 5-3 for the 170-pound title.
Nick, first of all, tell me about, now that you've had some time to think about it, winning the state championship. What does that mean to you, man?
It was pretty crazy. It was a lot of years of hard work put into finally getting the. Last year I was seeded third and I ended up not even placing, so it was good to finally come back and take it all.
Well, as you said, seeded third, expected to finish at least on the podium. Now, that had to be a motivation.
Yes, sir. It was. And then when I got there, I lost my quarterfinals match, and then I went to the semis and didn't wrestle hard after that. I just didn't have my head right in the consolations. So this year I made sure, even if I'd already planned, even if I did lose, I was not going to go home without anything. I was going to at least try and get a third.
That's kind of what wrestling teaches you, doesn't it? Huh?
Yes, sir.
What else have you learned from wrestling besides how to wrestle?
Just determination, hard work, never quitting, never giving up. So it just helped me everywhere.
All right, now get to the title match. It was tough.
Yes, sir.
Kind of take me through that match a little bit.
In the first period, he got a takedown. He scored first, and I was like, it's okay, because I've beaten that kid before, but in both the matches, he scored first. So it's okay, I just got to keep working. So I got my escape, so I was only down by one. And then in the second period, he chose down, and then I got a technical violation point because he crawled out of bounds. So they gave me a point for that, and I held on and held on. He kept standing up. I kept returning him, and he got away with like 5 seconds left. So it ended up being 3-2, and then I got 2 more stalling calls against him. So I ended up winning 5-3.
Wow, about as close as you wanted, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, what kind of relief when you looked up and realized, hey, I'm finally a state champion?
I don't know. I didn't know if time was out or not because we went out of bounds just as the clock hit 0. So I didn't really know if it was over or not. And I looked around and I was like, wow, I just did it. And I didn't really celebrate. I was kind of just like in shock. I couldn't stop smiling.
You know, the team did great this year, too.
Yes,
Probably
sir.
the best finish in North Hall wrestling
Yes,
history.
sir, it
Third
was.
in the duels and second in the traditionals.
Yes, sir.
And beat Buford.
Yeah.
How big was the team thing to you this year?
The team duels was much bigger. It was obviously a huge deal at the traditional, but I couldn't really focus on it until I had finished my finals match. Because I was mainly just thinking about my own match and just I have to get this and thinking about myself. And then as soon as that was over, I started thinking about team points immediately. You know what we needed to do to finish ahead of Gilmer.
Yeah, didn't quite happen, but pretty close.
It was close.
Yeah.
A few matches different.
What effect did it have on you to have a good team behind you, though?
Oh, it was awesome. The traveling places, it's fun to go there. It's fun to go and have the whole team with you. And then in the room is a big deal. When you've got a bunch of good guys who can all push you, you don't have anybody in the wrestling room who gives up points, who just is okay with getting taken down. Everybody's always fighting, and I mean it's not literally fighting, but just going after.
Well, that's the way it is in wrestling, you know.
Yeah.
But people don't like to give up anything. You're just competitive, huh? All the time.
It has to be.
All right, now tell me about the future wrestling. You got some plans after this year?
I'm not sure if I want to wrestle in college, but I am going around and looking at places. I've been to UNC, I've been to Chattanooga, so I'm going around and looking at places, App State, but I'm not sure if I want to wrestle in college yet.
Well, all right. Well, whatever you decide, wrestling will be good for you, won't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Nick, thanks for your time.
Now, Nick wound up 14-1 in his abbreviated season. At 182 pounds, Hale lost out to Pan Am Games silver medalist Matthew Waddell of Gilmer, but just barely 6'4" in overtime. Also bringing home a state title to Hall County was Marvin Cunningham of Chestatee, who pinned Nick Voyles of Carrollton to win the 4A state championship at 138 pounds.
Fresh off the state championship, what's going through your mind right now?
I feel great. I'm thanking all my teammates and my family and the practice, all the hard work that I put in. Sorry, I can't talk.
That's all right. I'll catch your breath. Now, you got down 2-0. What were you thinking then?
I was thinking I had to get up and just fight back. Don't let it take me down again.
Take me through the final sequence now, where you got him in, got an independent combination. What happened?
I had to keep it there and hold my momentum. Don't get too happy because he could always get out. So just had to keep on pushing and get the pin.
If you had to put your finger on one or two things, what did it for you this year? Why are you the state champion?
my teammates and how hard they put in work for me and my coaches and my mom that helped me through all of it. I just want to thank everybody.
State champion. Must feel pretty good.
It does.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Marvin ends up at 52-1. What a year. Also, a big congratulations to the North Hall Middle School wrestlers. The Junior Trojans won the state middle school championships, beating Gordon Lee 59-24 for the title here in Hall County. Well, we take it to the hoop in just a moment. You've decided it's time to get in shape. Now let Falcon Parkway Fitness in Flowery Branch help you achieve your goal. Open since 2000, Falcon Parkway Fitness features free weights, exercise machines, group fitness classes, as well as personal training in a fun family environment with childcare, lockers, showers, and 24-hour access. Come by for a free consultation with a certified personal trainer. And just next door, check out Optimum Body Care Day Spa with massage, facials, and waxing, or K. Michael Salon for hair and nail care. Falcon Parkway Fitness is your hometown family gym, located in Flowery Branch, right behind the public shopping center.
There are moments in life that you wish would last forever. Dreams that really do come true. Treasures worth protecting. And a future to prepare for. Turner Wood & Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905. Turner Wood & Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wood & Smith, insuring your future since 1905.
We're back. I'm Gary Glenn. This is Hall County Sports. Now we're going to talk basketball at the start of this segment, and the Flowery Branch girls had an unbeaten season going earlier this year, but that ended at the hands of the Gainesville girls. Lady Elephants knocking them off 60-48. Lady Falcons had opened the season with 16 straight wins. Taylor Hawks scored 26 and Shakaria Brown 21 in the win for Gainesville. Gainesville boys made it a sweep that night over the Lanierland champs as DeMarcus Simons scored 22. Now Simons, by the way, was nominated for the McDonald's All-America game in March, one of 755 high school players from all across the country, and only 12 from the state of Georgia to be so recognized. Now, DeMarcus did make the final roster, but still an honor for the Georgia State commit. Now, the Branch girls got revenge in the rematch with Gainesville, 45-42, as Julianne Sutton hit a jumper and a free throw in the closing seconds. Lady Falcons went on to win the region 8-5A tournament with a 27-1 record, and that was the first region crown in girls basketball in school history. Add that to 3 other tournament titles for the Flowery Branch girls. Other tournament champs in the various classes included the West Hall girls, who went on a 10-game win streak to claim the 7 AAA title, their first region tournament title since 2002. East Hall repeated as boys 7 AAA champs, and that was their 25th region championship. Got a lot of banners at Valhalla. The Lakeview girls and boys also won region championships in 8 single-A, and at the time we are recording this show, the West Hall and Flowery Branch girls and both Lakeview teams had made the quarterfinal round of the state basketball tournament, but it sure does get tougher there in the quarterfinals. We'll have more on those games on our next show. Now, the North Hall Middle School girls won the Hall County Championships at that level, beating East Hall for the title, and the East Hall Middle boys beat C.W. Davis for the 8th grade boys championship. Meanwhile, Sadie Cleveland and North Hall made the first team, all region, in 7 AAA girls basketball. Now, we're going to turn to another sport, and congrats to some of our local football players who made the Georgia Sports Writers All-State team. East Hall's wideout Marquise Jackson made the AAA first team as a receiver and the second team as a kick returner. West Hall's Taekwon Statham and punter Anthony Lottie also made the 3A first team. And on the 5A second team were Gainesville's Chris Bird, Chris Lyles, and Messiah Dorsey. Staying with football, I was invited to the North Hall football banquet at the Chattahoochee Country Club recently, and it's always a good meal there. The Trojans, one of the true success stories around these parts from last football season, going from a losing record to a winning one and qualifying for the state playoffs. For that, North Hall head coach Dave Bishop was voted by his peers and named Region Coach of the Year. I was invited to the banquet, as I said, as they celebrated all of that turnaround, and I recently had a chance to drop by and talk to Dave about all of that.
All right, Dave, first of all, thanks for inviting me the other night. It was kind of fun.
Oh, you're welcome, man. The banquet's it's tough to put together, but it's always a fun time.
Well, tell me how you go from 2-8 to being 6-5 and making the Quad A playoffs for the first time in school history.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of it started at that banquet last year, and I've told our kids and our coaches that, look, we need a different level of commitment. The people we play are a little different than what we've played in the past, and in order for us to be able to equal the playing ground, we had to do things outside of the regular school day in the weight room. We had what I called commit or quit.
And I basically told the kids and coaches, you need to make a commitment to doing this as the year goes on. And, our kids did, our coaches did. There were some that chose, look, I'm not ready to make that much of a commitment. So the extra time we put in and the emphasis on the weight room and speed was definitely a big thing.
You talked about that. You talked about the commitment that you've really never seen that level here before.
Well, and it's not that we weren't committed. It was the need wasn't necessarily there. We had advantages against people we played in the past. We used to be on a block schedule, so they had 90 minutes in the weight room. Our summer program was different when we came in, and it was different. A lot of people modeled it after what we were doing. So all that is kind of caught up, and then instead of us being 90 minutes, we've got about 38 minutes every day in the weight room. So we had to find a way to close the gap.
Mm-hmm. But you knew you had some talent coming back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you have 12 to 14 sophomores playing the year before and getting better, then we knew that we'd be okay with those kids as well as the seniors.
Now, this Coach of the Year thing, it's flattering, but you and I both know that as the head guy, you get probably more credit than you need and more blame than you need. So it's one of those kind of things. But again, that's a pretty good feather in your cap, Dave.
It is. As a coach, you got to take the good with the bad. But at the same time, for me, it's an honor that the coaches that I work with, your peers, would do that. But at the same time, for me, I know it's about our staff. And, I've got a great group of guys to work with. And it's also about the kids because they have to buy into what you're selling. And if they don't buy in, it doesn't matter. So, to me, it's a whole collection. It's a team award more than it is to me a coach award.
Mm-hmm. Different region next year, Dave. Back down to AAA.
It is, and the biggest concern I have, and we spoke to our kids yesterday, is look, just because it says 3 instead of 4 doesn't mean it's going to be easy. The one thing I see different now in that region with the teams we've put in the past is there's some top-notch coaches that have now moved their programs in an upward direction. You saw Dawson County make it to the Elite 8.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Gray's got his kids playing at an extremely well level, even young kids.
At East Hall.
East Hall. You throw in Coach Allison at Union County, who's got Union County playing well. You throw in GAC, who year to year is always going to be good, and then you throw in
Pavo up
at Fannin County.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He's got those.
Former Gainesville coach.
That's right. And so it's not the same AAA we're used to. It's going to be extremely competitive.
What about your team next year? You feeling pretty good?
I am. The biggest concern, I think you saw at the banquet, the sophomore class and I guess it would be our freshman class and our sophomore class are very small. We've got about 25 kids total between the two. So even though we've got a strong senior class coming in, it's those kids behind them, to me, that gives you a lot of the strength. So we've got to stay very healthy. But I'm really excited about the kids we have.
By the way, Sam Jackson was named the Trojans MVP for this past season. Sam, who also earned the Ironman Award, was one of the Trojans' all-region and all-area winners after this past football season. I'm back to wrap it up in just a moment. You've decided it's time to get in shape. Now let Falcon Parkway Fitness in Flowery Branch help you achieve your goal. Open since 2000, Falcon Parkway Fitness features free weights, exercise machines, group fitness classes, as well as personal training in a fun family environment with childcare, lockers, showers, and 24-hour access. Come by for a free consultation with a certified personal trainer. And just next door, check out Optimum Body Care Day Spa with massage, facials, and waxing, or K. Michael's Salon for hair and nail care. Falcon Parkway Fitness is your hometown family gym, located in Flowery Branch, right behind the public shopping center.
There are moments in life that you wish would last forever. Dreams that really do come true. Treasures worth protecting. And a future to prepare for. Turner Wood & Smith is with you every step of the way. Established in the Gainesville area in 1905. Turner Wood & Smith has become Northeast Georgia's largest independent insurance agency by offering professional service at competitive prices. Turner Wood & Smith, ensuring your future since 1905.
All right, just a few things to wrap up this show. We will chalk up another Hall County swim title for the Flowery Branch girls. Their 8th straight. Every year they've held the meet. Lady Falcons won the girls' side by just 1 point over North Hall, and they finished second in the boys' race for a top spot overall. Riverside, who doesn't have a girls' team, of course, being a military academy for boys. Riverside won the boys' title again. They're 7th in meet history. In 1 year, they just didn't enter it. Gainesville boys swam to third place there. A number of individuals and relay teams broke county records and qualified for the state meet. North Hall second overall in the county meet. Now at the state meet, highest finish for our Hall County swimmers was Chestatee Luke Haney's fourth place in the 100-yard backstroke and 200-yard individual medley. Now, the Brenau University swim team swamped second-place Wheeling Jesuit University out of West Virginia to capture its second straight Appalachian Swimming Conference championship in Christiansburg, Virginia. The preseason favorite Golden Tigers piled up 560 points, winning 7 individual and 5 relay events to whip Wheeling Jesuit by 93 points. Brenau also outpaced the Cardinals in the 2015 Appalachian Swim Championships by 65.5 points. Now, Riverside won its appeal with the Georgia High School Association to play down in classification. Now, the Eagles played in AA this past season, and they were scheduled to be moved all the way up to 4A, where, quite frankly and realistically, it would have been tough, if not impossible, to compete in just about any sport you want to pick. But based on their unique makeup, with so many people from out of state and even out of the country, RMA was granted the dispensation to play down, and I think that's pretty fair. Some alumni news for you. Ty McCormick out of North Hall, Clemson, and Auburn recently finished third in the Miami Half Marathon and was the first American across the line. He ran the 13.1 miles in 1 hour and 6 minutes. The day before that, he had won a 5K race in Orlando in 15-16. Unfortunately, the heat got to Ty in the L.A. Marathon, the full marathon Olympic trial qualifier, and they just had to drop out of the race, but Ty is still one of the top distance runners in the country. And finally, Clemson quarterback Deshaun Watson, who piloted the Tigers to a national runner-up spot to Alabama and was third in the Heisman balloting while winning the ACC Player of the Year and the Davey O'Brien Top Quarterbacking Award as a sophomore, will look seriously at foregoing his senior years with the Tigers to check out the NFL. Hadn't made up his mind yet, and, I kind of wish he would stay on in college. You don't get to do that, but, one time. The NFL will wait on you. No, take out an insurance policy or something, Deshaun. You'll be all right. That's our show. I'm Gary Glenn, Hall County Sports. Hall County Sports is also brought to you in part by Green Ford on Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville. Check out the latest deals, and remember, when you go Green Ford. By Turner Wood & Smith, serving the insurance needs of our area for over 100 years. And by McKellar Road United Methodist Church on McKellar Road in Oakwood. Loving Christ, loving people, and helping people love Christ.
Oh.